Hello and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day and this sensor bar. Again, I'm sorry about that, but needs must when the devil drives. Did I just use a golfing metaphor when I don't think I've played golf since school, and even then it was pretty half-hearted because it's not like we had an actual golf course or anything. There's my pen. Sorry, I'm just making a note of the fact that I'm going to have to censor these first couple of parts. It's annoying, but there it is. So yes, once again, I apologise for the necessity of the black bar. Right. Cold water splashed against Ikari, soaking away the tension from the battle. A shower after a victory was exactly what she needed. She couldn't help but sigh in relief. The door slid open, and another person entered the shower room. Who? Permission to enter? Well, I guess it's fine, but we're both girls. Nothing beats a shower after the rush of combat. And we sure gave the Reds a good whooping this time, did we not? I suppose. Despite everything, we've managed to keep the Sunrider in one piece. Mostly. So well... Oh, whatever, soldier boy. Here's the soap. Kriska grabbed the soap bar from Ikari's hand. With this victory, the road to Serra lies completely open. Looks like Pact was merely overconfident, challenging the dominance of the Alliance. I bet they'll be suing for peace in no time at all. Once everyone sits down to talk, I'm sure this war will be over. Seriously, it's too soon to get confident like that. Well, I guess you did do well out there, though. So, thanks. Huh! You're not as bad as I thought either, mercenary. I'm proud to be your comrade in arms. Kriska took Ikari's hand and shook it over vigorously. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've been shipping these two since since first arrival, when they only had like 2 scenes together, so yeah. Once this war is over, let's share a round of drinks together on Solaris. Comrade! Seriously? You better prepare yourself. I'm not going to be out drunk by a choir boy like you. Huh. They call me Stonewall for more than one reason. I hope your fortitude lasts longer than your rider's armour. What? You? Those two. They are bleeding menaces. Shields observed the entity he had known earlier as Venusaur Arcadius. Up close he saw that she was but a small female, hardly intimidating behind a force field of plexiglass. So, what is this thing? I performed a preliminary medical check. For all intents and purposes, she appears to be a human. However, a deeper analysis reveals substantial artificial engineering done to her genetic code. The closest analogy might be that she's Chigara's sister, albeit artificially created. You never told me you had a sister, Chigara. No. This is the first time I've seen an artificial human, much less a sister. Do you have any ideas about her origins? I'm sorry? Well then, looks like the only thing left was to ask her personally. Shields approached the cell and pressed the intercom. I'm Captain Shields. Welcome aboard the Sunrider. What do you want? Interesting. Sorry, I'm flashing back to Sunrider Academy, where Chigara did have a sister named Lynn. As I said, Sunrider Academy and Sunrider the main games take place basically in different parallel universes. Think DC's whole multiverse thing, so, yeah. What do you want? You are now a prisoner of war under Article 7 of the Serra Military Code. We will treat you fairly and respect your basic human rights to the extent required under that code. Now, do you have a name, prisoner? Prototype L7NN. That's hardly a name. Why don't we just call you Lynn? That's a part of Chigara's name. Are you related to her? Of course. We are all sisters. Together we are Legion. But the others are silent now. The ones nearby are all dead, but there are more of us. There will always be more. What we've seen before, the prototypes seem capable of communicating with each other. Could it possibly be telepathy? But Such powers cross into the realms of fantasy. Could lost technology be involved? So you can't hear your sisters now? That's what I said. You've been cut off. You must be scared. Is it the first time you've been disconnected? If Chigara's one of your kind, why can't you hear her thoughts? Suddenly no words, huh? The prototypes must depend on their hive mind to function. Without it, they're individually weak. Shields left the intercom. Claude and Chigara peered at him curiously. Well? We'll watch her for now. I don't think she'll pull anything, but be careful, just in case. As long as we don't run into another prototype, I don't think she has much power. She looks just like a small girl now. It's a little embarrassing. We were intimidated by Arcadius when he was just a little girl all along. Anyway, see if she starts talking again. Figure out what we can learn from her. Understood, Captain. Okay, I'll try to help too. Oh, and speaking of little... In the other cell, Cosette pressed her face up against the plexiglass and snorted, fogging it up. Our pirate friend seems to have acclimated well to the brig. Shields pressed the intercom. You bastard! What did you call me? He cut her off. Shields shook his head and frowned. Make sure she doesn't hurt herself. Claude chopped her hand on her forehead. Sir! Shields exited the brig to come face to face with Ava. Oh. He awkwardly cleared his throat as she eyed him with disapproval. Well... Already sensing an impending lecture, he tried to hightail it back to his office. She power-walked, chasing him through the hallway. Captain, I will be formally lodging a complaint again in regards to the operation against the Legion. I'd say the operation turned out well enough. Despite expending considerable resources and lives in an attempt to exploit its weakness, you issued an order to ignore it when we had it in our sights. Because of your order, our allied forces sustained severe losses which were entirely preventable. Worse still, now Pact has been tipped off about the Legion's design flaw. According to latest Alliance intel, the Legion has been pulled back deep into Pact space for a design overhaul. No doubt Pact will now seal the only weakness in the Legion's design, and the next time the Legion appears in battle it will be nigh invincible. We had one opportunity to strike the Legion while Pact was unaware of its vulnerability, and that opportunity was squandered. All in all, the battle would have been a catastrophic loss for the Alliance were it not for Venusaur Fontana's fortuitous betrayal. Our victory was entirely situational, and had we not been so lucky, none of us would be alive right now. And finally, one last thing, Captain. You mean there's more? I wholeheartedly denounce your highly inappropriate remarks regarding your feelings towards me on the floor of the bridge. Shouting like a fool like that, and in front of the entire bridge crew. Unbelievable. Such unbecoming conduct from the highest-ranking Saren officer aboard this fleet. Shields cringed and turned around to face her. Will that be all, Commander? Sir! Shields scratched the back of his head in frustration. I'm glad to see you safe and sound too, Ava. This is not a joke, Captain! You could lose your commission for this, at the very least face a very ugly sexual harassment suit. Sexual... I wasn't going to send you to your death, Ava. Enough Saren lives have been lost to that ship. And now many, many more. We'd be insane if we weren't emotionally compromised after all that's happened. We'd probably be monsters. I'm sorry. You were right. I should never have sent the Sunrider into that battle. You never realise what you still have around you until you're about to lose it. Huh. Anyways, you can go ahead and file that complaint. But considering Command was reduced to a smoking crater a while back, I doubt it's going to do you much good. Yes, Captain. I am very painfully aware of that fact. I was merely venting. It looks like you'll have to deal with me for a while longer then. Shields forced a smile. At least we have luck on our side. The Commander shook her head as Shields walked away. Great. She totally hates me now. So much for getting closer. Shields gently cleared his throat, trying not to scare Chigara. Oh, Captain? You're troubled. Yes? About Lynn and the rest of the prototypes? I was completely clueless. I had no idea they existed. Engineered siblings of myself? Could they have been created behind your back? I'd always considered my childhood to be normal. Performing experiments with my parents, learning to continue their work. Sorry, Chigara, but nothing about that sounds like a normal childhood. They were happy days. I was an only child, and my parents gave me all their attention. Anyways, I never knew I had hundreds of sisters wandering around, all plotting to take over the galaxy. Chigara has no interest in galactic overlordship, just proprietorship of a small bakery is more than enough. Side note, this is 2 games in a row where one of the main female characters has an ambition to open a bakery. Nobody is questioning your loyalty, Chigara. We would never have made it this far without your help. You'd never betray us. Captain? No, you mustn't keep saying things like that. I think Chigara's going to go bake a cake now. Thank you, Captain. That actually made me feel a little bit better. Chigara backed away, smiling at Shields. Please see me later. I'm making something for you. Really? Yeah. Please look forward to it. Alright. Well, then I'll see you later, Captain. Asaga looked out the viewport into the distant stars, and her reflection floated in the abyss. I can't remember most of what happened in that battle. What came over me? Asaga. Who? Do not fear. I am but a part of you which has been awakened by the strength of your will. Reflect on your feelings. You know I am the embodiment of your ideals. You don't actually exist. You're just inside my head. Yes. At last your powers have begun to germinate. Soon you will be indomitable, an unstoppable instrument of justice to judge the sins of mankind. Your companions ignore you, for they cannot perceive the greatness of the destiny that awaits you. You are not in his sight, but she is. You are the Shah, the one who will bring justice to the galaxy, while she shares her face with the evildoer. No! Chigara's my friend, she wouldn't! Already she has squirmed into his heart. His trust shall be his undoing. You must defend this ship. You must defend him. No! I don't like these feelings. Get out of me! Ah. Asaga turned around and came face to face with Sola. Ah! The vision vanished as quickly as it had appeared, and her face flushed bright red. How long were you there? I dropped into Chigara's voice for a second, sorry. How long were you there? Heard the entire thing. Oh, no way! Sola sat down on a bunk. You are troubled. Well, yeah. I am inexperienced with matters of the heart, but the Ruvian court was a place rife with dark emotions. Lust, jealousy, paranoia. They fester in your heart, consume you, until you can no longer be called a human, but a monster. It's easy for you. You don't feel any emotions, Sola. Wrong. She does. Sola to me reminds me very much of a Vulcan. There's a common misconception that Vulcans don't feel emotions. Very wrong. Vulcans keep their emotions suppressed, but they do still feel them. They train themselves not to act on them, they train themselves to repress them completely, because if they don't, they can become completely overpowered by them. Because Vulcans have incredibly strong emotions. Sorry, I'm off topic and onto Star Trek again, my apologies. One would rather feel none than all the pain, no? I suppose that's true. I am sorry. I have overstepped my position. I am no Shah, merely a pale imitation, impressed into service. Sola? Then I returned to the abyss. Sola fell down and pulled her blanket over her. With great power comes corruption, arrogance, and paranoia. Our omnipotent powers prove to be our undoing. Will history repeat itself? Shields reported into the bridge. The ship was abuzz with activity in the aftermath of the battle. with the Alliance and Seren crew buzzing around the deck. Everyone was still dazzled by the truth of Arcadius' identity, and the air practically vibrated with excitement. For the first time, the atmosphere was positive. Their victory and the news of infighting with Pact's own ranks had boosted morale. "Captain." "At ease, Lieutenant." "Sir." "Situation... blah. What's the situation?" I need to not say this the way I would. I get into character too much when I'm playing Kato Shields, that's the problem. What can I say? Space captains, they're awesome. We have now secured complete control over the Hellion system. The remnants of Pact's Hellion fleet have withdrawn towards Ruvia Prime. It appears the forces closest to Venusaur Fontana are gathering there, while the remaining Pact loyalists are amassing at Serra for a final stand in the neutral rim. Fontana's betrayal must have rattled Arcadius, or rather the prototypes. They're giving up the neutral rim, bunkering in for a defensive war. The Emerald fleet's got Pact on the run, Captain. They were fools to challenge the Alliance. And the Sunrider too, of course. Alliance troops have secured the enemy Paradox Core. It appears that during Pact's retreat their plan to destroy the core failed. We've defused the explosives and are standing by for orders. Admiral Grey is personally inspecting the core as we speak. He has asked you to meet with him. Alright, then let's get going. Understood, Captain. I shall prepare a shuttle right away. Shields entered the Paradox Core's main control room. It had all the grandeur of a throne room. Was it a reflection of Arcadius? Or more accurately, the prototype's tastes? A mightily elevated seat sat at the far end of the hall, overseeing all who worked here. Admiral Grey walked into sight from behind the throne. Welcome, Captain Shields. Quite a grand control centre, is it not? Admiral. Shields nodded. The Paradox Core. Grey outstretched his arms, his voice echoing through the mammoth hall. A weapon more devastating than anything the human mind could conjure. It's quite fitting that it sprang not from the mind of a man, but from a monster, corrupted by science. Whoever controls this weapon would have the galaxy at its very neck. Entire systems could be destroyed in the blink of an eye. Fleets and armies would mean nothing. A new era, where entire empires could collapse in seconds. Nay, empires, weapons, petty nationalist differences would all be moot. The one who sits on this chair would cease to be a man and would become a god. All other men would become but beasts in his eyes, his will absolute. Grey patted his hand on the chair's armrest. A seat fit for any Ruvian emperor. A wry, cynical smile cracked the Admiral's face. Or I suppose in our time any emperor in general. He looked at the throne, his gaze distant. Admiral, tell me you're not going to make me go round your back to blow this thing up. Tell me you are smart enough to realise we can't keep it. In antiquity, sons killed their fathers for such power. Men turned into demons, until everything they held dear burned to ashes. Let us all be in relief that such a dark age will never again descend upon humanity. Grey walked away from the throne, meeting Shields face to face. Have you come to a decision about the core? Yes. It must be destroyed. Good. Thank you, Admiral. You made the right call. Shields eased at the Admiral's decision, and somewhere deep in his heart he had suspected. But the Admiral is still a good man. Was I wrong to suspect him? Many men died so we could destroy this abomination. I pray the galaxy will never see anything like it. Yes, yes. As do I. The Admiral's face lightened. Though I am disappointed the battle was not won through our fleet's might, but because of sedition within Pact's ranks. This is the end of the war, Shields. With division amongst their leadership, they are finished. What's our next step? We will press on, further into the neutral rim. Serra is our goal. If Serra is liberated, Pact will have no other option but to surrender, or else face a devastating charge into the heart of their own worlds. And what are the prototypes? Our intelligence service has already made strides in locating their ilk. By the way, I hear you captured one alive. It is our prisoner, yes? And I assume you don't intend on turning it over. Shields held his ground. My forces performed the capture. Very well, Captain. I permit you to retain jurisdiction then. In any matter, the prototypes will be neutralized in short order, both by us and Pact. Pact's leadership is changing. I predict the new heads at the top will be more amenable to our point of view. And what is that, Admiral? What does the Alliance want from this war? Peace. And freedom, of course, for the Alliance as well as the Neutral Rim. It will not be long now, Captain. You at the head of your Liberation Day parade, the mighty hero of Sarah. The men will cheer you, the women will adore you, and the children will be named after you. Such days are precious to a military man. Cherish them while they last. Sir? War is but a playground to the perils of peacetime politics. The Admiral chuckled and patted Shields' back. Then, let us return this damned contraption to the fires and be done with this place. I can only take so much of this grotesque packed architecture. Grey walked out of the control room. Grey. In more ways than one. Honestly, I can never tell whether he's on our side or not. Well, that's the thing. Grey's a patriot. And while you are aligned with the Alliance, you're not part of it. So whose side is he on? He's on the side of the Alliance. As long as your goals match the Alliance, he's perfectly happy to work with you. Yeah, but let's face it, if you ever tried to screw over the Alliance in any way, he would come down on you like a ton of bricks. Shield looked into the core as the final countdown hit 0. The bridge erupted into applause as the fragments of the core fell into the star. Kriska could barely contain her joy. With this, Captain, the galaxy is saved. The Alliance has saved humanity. The core is destroyed. Pact is weakened. The war is at last in our favour. Were my doubts about the Alliance misplaced? Too many things are going right. Could this be too good to be true? Or was I merely being too pessimistic? Shields put his hand on Kriska's shoulder. We won this battle, Lieutenant. The war's not over yet. Sir, I promise you will not regret your decision to trust the Alliance. I'll keep them to your word on that, Lieutenant. You have my gratitude for watching me back on Ongus. It was a dicey situation. It was a dicey situation there. Of course, I'll gladly protect you again, Captain. The Sunrider feels different from an Alliance vessel. While I'm not used to the lack of discipline, I feel as if we're all family here. The people here are my friends. Sir, I mean no disrespect, but it is not merely duty which keeps me here. It's something more than that. Something much harder to obtain. Yeah. Family. Shields rubbed his face as Ava ran over his to-do list. The Sunrider had spent the greater part of the last month in dry dock, thanks to the damage they sustained in the previous battle. While the downtime allowed the ship to be improved with the latest Alliance technology, a certain XO was becoming increasingly anxious to return to the front lines. Captain, I feared this would happen. Thanks to the renovation work, you are now hopelessly behind on paperwork. This requisition approval form is already 3 days overdue. Don't worry, I told Akari to accept the new equipment on the elevator the other day. What other day? Captain, the prototypes remain at large and Pact is still formidable. We must be vigilant against the risk of subterfuge. That is why all the paperwork must be done both diligently and on paper, and filed promptly. Shields scratched his hair in irritation. Alright, alright. There is another matter as well. What is it? Regarding the prototype and our chief engineer. Shields' door slid open and Chigara burst in. It's finally finished, Captain. Here, take a look. Chigara revealed a box behind her back. She opened it and took out Shields' old tea set. His face glowed at seeing it restored as if nothing had ever happened to it. Well, would you look at that? All fixed up. How do you do that, Chigara? I managed to gather up all the fragments and bond them together, piece by piece. It was a little challenging to fill in all the missing pieces, but I managed to restore the whole set. As expected of our chief. Commander, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Don't worry. Ava here was just drilling me about the importance of paperwork. Shields passed Ava a completed form. Alright, Ava, I'll behave myself from now on. Here you go. Now, what were you going to say? Nothing at all, Captain. We are scheduled to remain in dry dock for 2 more weeks to patch the ship back together after our latest beating. Please do not wreck her so much again. She's saying that as if everything was my fault. Understood, Captain. Ava turned round and left. Well, Chigara, you heard the lady. I better get back to work. Understood. He leaned into Chigara's ears. Catch me again later, when I'm less busy. Shields laughed and patted Chigara on the back. Oh, okay. Please try your best, Captain. Shields spotted Ikari eating dinner with Kriska at a table. He took a seat in front of them. Well, looks like hell's frozen over. What? It's not like I like her now or anything. We were just discussing strategy, that's all. But were you not just telling me at length about your cat picture collection? Well, Ikari, it's like you said. The Alliance ended up helping us after all. Right, Lieutenant? So, and it looks like you managed to make a friend on top of that. I'm happy for you. I was getting tired of you looking so angry all the time. Speak for yourself. It's like night and day. All dark and gloomy before the battle, and now... walking around the ship with nothing but a huge grin on your face. It's like we were all worried about you for nothing. I guess all it took was a wink and a smile from your favourite to make you happy again. I should have known better than to worry about a simpleton like you. You were worried for me? Well, only because I didn't want to be bossed around by you unless you were at your best. There's no way I'd put my Phoenix under the command of someone who didn't have his marbles together. I definitely didn't do it because I cared about you. At all. She really should have just let that last part out. Anyways, what's this about a favourite? Your schoolboy crush on the Chief's hardly a secret. Boob Rocket's running a lottery as to when you two will finally end up hitched. And once I win that thing, I'm gonna be rich. Ikari, that's... I wouldn't let the Commander find out about that, or Arcadius wouldn't be your biggest fear. No worries. I apologise, Captain. I was merely... Careful, Lieutenant. Betting on the Captain's love life might warrant a court-martial. Court-martial? Oh boy, she looks like she's about to cry. Are you alright? Shit. This curry is really spicy. He's just joking around, alright. You don't have to worry about your permanent record. Permanent record? One landmine after another. I suddenly feel sick. Must report to the infirmary. They're so much closer now. I better leave these lovebirds be. Shields walked away as Ikari wiped away Kriska's tears with a napkin. Captain's log. We're wrapping up the repairs to the Sunrider. For now, it looks like this will have to do for our shore leave until the end of the war. The Alliance fleet has made further gains through the neutral rim. Pact has drawn their ships back to Sarah for a final stand. Sarah. It won't be long now until we return home. Shields' FTL communicator rang. Captain, a moment of your time? Admiral, how may I help you? Shields, we meet again. Fontana. Fear not, Captain. We have been in secret talks with interested parties inside Pact. After the unexpected turn of events at Hellion, some within Pact seek a negotiated settlement. Of course, all of this is top-secret information. Pact seeks peace talks? In a manner of speaking. We are still divided. Arcadius, or rather the creatures that impersonate him, still command considerable loyalty from the hardliners. Yet not everyone in Pact wishes to see our ideals turn to ash. Make no mistake, the Alliance's greed shall prove its undoing. But it shall be time with wither away the wealth of Imperials, not the blood of our men and women. Grey rubbed his eyes. In any matter, I've been involved in talks with Pact's peace faction. An understanding may pave the road to ending this war. It is a path well worth exploring. You are invited to observe our next meeting with the Pact envoys, Captain. I am sure you have a considerable interest in this as well, no? That I do, Admiral. I'll see this meeting for myself, then. Good. Then, Mr. Fontana, I shall look forward to your attendance. Until later, Shields. The connection ended. Well, that to me seems an excellent part to end this part. That to me seems an excellent point to end this part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.